You know what's interesting? We live in a world where almost everything is shared: meals, vacations, achievements, even emotions. And for most people, being visible feels normal. But there's another group: people who quietly step back, people who avoid social media. They don't post much, they don't document their lives. Sometimes they disappear completely. And the strange thing is, people often misunderstand them. They assume they're antisocial, disconnected, or missing out. But what if the opposite is true? What if avoiding social media isn't about disconnection at all? You probably know someone like this. They have an account, but rarely use it. They don't post updates. They don't share personal milestones. They don't chase attention. Or maybe that person is you. In a world where visibility is rewarded, choosing not to be seen is unusual. And that's exactly why it's interesting, because psychologically this choice doesn't come from nowhere, it comes from experience. Picture this: you open your phone, you scroll through social media. Someone is traveling, someone just got promoted, someone looks happier, more successful, more put together. At first, it feels harmless, just entertainment. But slowly, something changes. You start comparing your life to what you see, even when you know those moments are curated. Psychologists call this social comparison theory. Your brain constantly measures your reality against other people's highlights, and over time, that creates pressure. Research published in Computers in Human Behavior shows a clear pattern. Heavy social media use is linked to higher anxiety, lower self-esteem, and emotional fatigue. Not because social media is inherently bad, but because your brain isn't built to process hundreds of lives at once. It evolved for small social groups, real interactions, direct feedback. But now, you're comparing yourself to hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, every single day, and your brain treats all of it as real. For some people, this creates a subtle discomfort. They don't always notice it immediately. They just feel off. Scrolling becomes draining. Posting feels unnecessary. Sharing feels performative. So they begin to change their behavior. They post less. They scroll less. They engage less. And eventually, they step away. Not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, almost invisible shift. Here's what most people get wrong. Avoiding social media is not always avoidance. Sometimes it's regulation. Your nervous system is trying to reduce overload because every post you see is a signal, an emotion, an expectation, a comparison. And for people who are more reflective or sensitive, this becomes overwhelming. So their brain adapts. It removes the source of stimulation, not out of weakness, but out of awareness. Think about a simple situation. You're out having dinner with friends. One person spends the evening taking photos of the food, adjusting lighting, posting stories, checking reactions. Another person puts their phone away. They listen, they laugh, they stay present. At the end of the night, one person leaves with content, the other leaves with memory. And here's the important part. The brain encodes experiences differently when you're fully present. Studies in cognitive psychology show that attention directly affects memory formation. When your attention is divided, your experience becomes weaker. So people who avoid social media often protect something very simple: their ability to actually live the moment. Over time, patterns start to appear. People who avoid social media often share certain traits. They are more internally focused, more selective with their attention, less driven by external validation. They don't constantly ask, "How do I look?" They ask, "How do I feel?" They value privacy, not as secrecy, but as control over their own experience. But this choice comes with a cost, because in today's world, visibility creates opportunity. Opportunities often come from being seen, networking, recognition, exposure. And when you step away from that system, you might be overlooked. Not because you lack value, but because you're not visible. So these individuals live with a quiet tension. They choose authenticity in a system that rewards visibility. This also affects relationships. They care deeply about people, but they don't always express it publicly. They don't post appreciation posts. They don't share every moment. Instead, they prefer real conversations, private connections. And because of that, Others may misinterpret them as distant or uninterested, but in reality, their connection is just offline. At a deeper level, these people experience life differently. They don't see moments as content, they see them as experiences. A walk is just a walk, not something to capture. A success is something to feel, not something to announce. And this creates a very different life experience. Less performance, more presence, less comparison, more clarity. The truth is, avoiding social media is not about rejecting the world, it's about choosing how to engage with it. Some people thrive in visibility, others thrive in privacy. Neither is right or wrong, but they lead to very different lives. People who avoid social media are not missing out. They are filtering. They are protecting their attention, their emotions, their experience. They are the observers in a world full of performers. And sometimes, the ones who are not constantly seen are the ones who see the most.